America is a large country. There are 50 states and a bunch of territories that make up the country. Finding out where to live can be difficult, so that's why today I will be ranking the top 10 worst states. They are based on education, crime, quality of life, jobs/employment, cost of living, and poverty. This is all coming from facts, and I'll throw in some opinions too, but that doesn't change the ranking. Every state has its ups and downs, just some have more downs than others. Let's get started. Number 10 is California, the Golden State. As someone who was born there and goes there quite often, I'm sad to see it on this list because I love it there. It has great weather and some nice places, but it ranks poorly for employment and cost of living. The average score is 33.5 out of 50. I knew it would rank high for cost of living at 48 and employment at 45. The worst cost of living is actually in Massachusetts, and the worst employment is Nevada. In the other categories, it ranks 20th for education, 32nd for crime, and 24th for quality of life, and 32nd for poverty. Forgot about that. Those stats are not great. Number 9 is Oklahoma. I'm not surprised it's on here. I've been there once and I don't really know what to say about it. With an average score barely above California at 33.51, it ranks 48th for education, 45th for crime, 43rd for quality of life, 20th for employment, 2nd for cost of living, and 43rd for poverty. It makes sense why it's on this list, but it's actually not the worst. Next up is Nevada. I already mentioned them earlier in this video, but with an average score of 34. They rank 38th for education, 24th for crime, 37th for quality of life, dead last for employment, 28th for cost of living, and 27th for poverty. Most of their stats are close to the middle, but the lack of employment, probably from all those casinos, is why they are dead last for this category. Number 7 is Arkansas, with an average score of 34.17. I guess that this state would make an appearance on this list before I made this video. I've never been there, but I've been close. It doesn't seem like a bad state though. Well, maybe some parts aren't bad. They rank 43rd for education, 46th for crime, 44th for quality of life, 19th for employment, 8th for cost of living, and 45th for poverty. Basically, it's a cheap state to move to and easy to find a job, but it's also one of the poorest states and has a high crime rate. At number 6, we have South Carolina, with an average score of 37. They rank in the bottom 10 for education, crime, quality of life, and poverty, while they rank right in the middle for cost of living and employment. Yeah, they have the 3rd highest crime rate and the 9th highest poverty rate. Not an ideal place to move to. Number 5 is Oregon, with an average score of 37.17. I'm shocked they made this list because I really enjoyed the state and it was a beautiful place when I went there 2 weeks ago. The rankings are depressing though. They rank 39th for education, 42nd for crime, 22nd for quality of life, 48th for employment, 43rd for cost of living, and 29th for poverty. Number 4 is Arizona, the Grand Canyon state. It's one of my favorite states actually. I love the winter and spring seasons there, and the Grand Canyon is nice, but their average score of 37.3 sure isn't nice. The only category that is in the bottom 10 is education at 45th. Their crime is at 37th, quality of life 39th, employment 28th, cost of living 36th, poverty 39th. They are in the bottom 50% in every category. Coming in 3rd place, we have Alaska, with an average score of 38.5. I've heard this is a beautiful state to visit with good wildlife, but their stats are horrible. 2nd worst education, 10th worst crime, 45th for quality of life, 36th for jobs, 46th for cost of living, and 15th for poverty. Basically, it's a somewhat expensive place that has a lot of crime with bad education and somewhat low poverty. Silver medal goes to Louisiana, with an average score of 40.5. I knew they would make the top 5. The only stat they ranked nicely for was cost of living, in 14th place. The other stats are 46th for education, 49th for crime, dead last for quality of life, 35th for employment, and 49th for poverty. It's cheap to live here, but the jobs are lacking, and a lot of crime and poverty takes place here. Finally, at number 1, we have New Mexico, the worst state to live in. I predicted the state would be number 1. Their average score of 41.83 comes from being dead last in education and crime, 3rd worst in quality of life and poverty, 33rd in jobs/employment, and 22nd in cost of living. I have driven through the state, and there are some beautiful places, though. Each state has its good and bad places. Just because your state might be on here doesn't mean you shouldn't move to it. They just have more rougher places than other states. Also, politics wasn't and should not be involved when ranking states. Saying that a specific state is bad based on the way they vote is wrong. There are red states and blue states that are amazing, and there are some that are not good. States that just missed the list were Mississippi, Texas, and Kentucky. Let me know in the comments what you thought would be on this list and what states you are shocked are on the list. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys later.